Classic Plus and fresh WoW hype explained. Okay.
This phenomenon, the so-called fresh WoW hype.
Oh, here we
more
go.
Recent Classic Plus hype.
Okay.
And odds are, you're going through one of these phases right now.
Okay. Is the Minecraft music? Classic Plus and fresh hype
The fresh WoW
explained.
phase is a very unique and widely recognized cultural experience in the gaming community. There are YouTube videos about it, surveys about it,
Yep.
and even memes about it.
Wait, what I grew up expecting to play in the year 2020, what I will actually play. Goddamn classic WoW, man.
Recently, we've seen the rise of Classic Plus hype. Everyone is talking about it everywhere.
I feel like this has just always been around though. Like the idea behind Classic Plus and like it's been for years. But I guess lately it's been more so, yeah.
But what most of us don't seem to understand is why? Why do we have this fresh WoW or Classic Plus hype? And why does it keep coming back after all these years?
I think he's probably gonna get more into it, but I think for a lot of people, myself included, Classic WoW is like somewhat like a safe space, like a safe zone. You know what it is, you know what you could expect, a fresh hype is fun, and a lot of people, they want to build on that, right? And that's why Classic Plus comes into it, right? Because what if we had the game that we know and love, but then made it even better? The problem with Classic Plus is that it can never be the perfect game, because Classic Plus is a different thing for everybody, right? You know, I have a view on what I think is the perfect Classic Plus, and maybe Slayer in the chat has a different view on it, right? So that's pretty much it.
Why do so many people in our generation experience this? Well, to answer this question, we have to go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
Back to a time before Fresh or Classic Plus was even a thing.
Yeah?
Back to our first introduction to this game we all love.
Oh no,
And for
dude.
me, that time was 2005.
Yep. Back in the day. Hey, Asmi. I like the music
I
he's
remember
chosen.
this all like it was yesterday. It was June, summer vacation had just started, and a friend of mine had recently introduced me to this massive new MMORPG. Of course, I had to play at his house because the only computer I had at home was a family Dell that was
Dude, this exact keyboard. One of my best friends back in middle school had this keyboard, and I vividly remember how the buttons felt to press on the keyboard. And I think he played a mage. And I back then I was like level 15 or so. I was really low level, and he was like level 30. He was really high level. I'm like, damn, dude, what the heck? He had the nicest setup, dude. I was so jealous because my family, we didn't have a lot of money when I grew up, right? Because I lived with my mom. I didn't talk to my dad, so it was just my mom was solo queuing with like 3 kids, right? So we had one computer in the we had one computer in our household, right? And that computer was my brother's, so I could only play WoW whenever he wasn't home and not on the PC, and that was so rare, man. When I was 13 or 12, there's something in Denmark called confirmation, which is where it's like you go into adulthood or whatever. It's like some Christian stuff. And the good thing about a confirmation is that you get a lot of money, right? Because it's like a big thing. Everybody, all the relatives and all the family comes over. And I had just enough money to buy my own PC. And that's when I started playing a lot, because I had my own computer.
struggle to play
A little
RuneScape
bit of a rant, sorry, but it just got me a little bit nostalgic, right?
on a browser.
Yeah.
I would create a character, usually a night elf hunter, spawn into Teldrassil, and just run around killing mobs for hours. And then have to head home.
Imagine being a kid and looking at all the races and you make a night elf. When there's orcs and undead and tauren and trolls, and you make like, I'm gonna make a night elf. Oh god. Yikes. Yikes.
I'm pretty sure I never got past level 5, but it was enough to get me absolutely hooked.
Yep.
So I did what every kid did back then, and used any birthday money I'd saved and sold some stuff, and built a really cheap, really crappy gaming PC to play WoW on at home.
I didn't build one though.
My gaming setup was a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, and speakers all sitting on top of a tiny snack table.
The freaking speakers. I had a glass table with a roll-out desk, like a roll-out keyboard tray, and it was the worst thing ever. Because I was like, man, dude, a glass table, that's so cool. Don't ever get a glass table, guys. Don't ever get a glass table.
I didn't have room for a desk in my room.
It's so bad.
But I made it work and booted up the game for the first time in my own room.
Yep. I'm getting nostalgic about this video. Sorry, it's like activating neurons in me. I apologize for rambling.
The players running around chatting with each other immediately drew me into the game, giving me a sense of immersion that I had just never felt before. From that moment on, I don't think I ever stopped playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah. You only take breaks. You never fully stop. Isn't that how it goes?
And of course, why would I? The game was and is genius. It's basically a giant world that never stopped moving, even after you logged off.
Communities,
you got to create your
guilds.
character, level up to get stronger, and explore a world that felt so massive and endless. At that time, you would never run out of things to do or places to explore. In 2007, we received our first expansion, The Burning Crusade, and then in 2008, we got the second expansion, Wrath of the Lich King.
Yep.
It was honestly as close to perfect as it gets. But no matter how perfect it was, by the end of 2010, there was a new game on the block that had caught my eye.
Don't say League of Legends. Don't say League of Legends. What? Tron Worlds? What is this?
Talara has always been threatened by forces beyond the Ward.
I'm not sure what this is. I never played this.
No, I'm kidding. Rift was great for
Oh, it's Rift. Okay, I heard about Rift. I never played it.
few hours, but it was no WoW killer like everyone said. Look, the point is...
I think a lot of WoW players had this phase. For me, that phase happened around Wrath of the Lich King, where a bunch of me and my friends, we kind of went off and we started playing a bunch of free-to-play MMOs. You know, like Raider Z, Perfect World. Not a free version, but I also played Age of Conan. That wasn't free. But we had like a phase, like a weird phase back in the day where we just started playing random free-to-play MMOs. And that was honestly really fun. It was kind of scuffed, but it was a fun time. Not something you could play for a long while though, right? Weird Japanese games. There's a ton of like random MMOs. It's so strange. Like there's like a Dragon Ball Z MMO as well. The quest to find the WoW replacement, yeah, to a certain degree, right? And I think for a lot of people that thing can never really happen because what a lot of people appreciate and a lot of people like think about when the WoW is like they more so than anything they just miss the times that it was back then, right? And playing World of Warcraft Classic like does give you a little bit of that feeling back, but it can never truly be that ever again, right? So it's like you're chasing the high. You're chasing the high again.
A little bit boring, just like any game that you play for so long would. So one day, without even realizing
I played Warframe 2.
I logged out of WoW for the last time.
Dude. It's like when you hang up on Skype and you're like, hey guys, see you guys tomorrow.
Until August of 2019.
And there was no tomorrow.
When my first ever fresh WoW experience would begin. Oh my god, that guy was walking free for so long.
Dude, it was crazy.
7,000 Q? My god, dude.
This was insane.
This was the first of many fresh WoW experiences. It turned out it was just as amazing as it was back in 2005. Maybe.
I don't think we can ever replicate that though. With classic WoW again and with WoW, I think 2019 was just a culmination of everything. Like, dude, it can get hype again, but not to that level. That shit was so crazy. Like, it was insane.
Even a little bit better. The first 12 months or so was fun and exciting, but around the 13-month marker, it really all started to fade away.
Around Bragwin Lair.
Many of us will attest to this. It just wasn't the same as it once was.
True.
This fresh WoW carried on into a re-release of the Burning Crusade Classic, Wrath of the Lich King Classic, and now even Cataclysm Classic 5 years after Classic launched in 2019. And now that I think of it, prior to starting this YouTube channel, I don't think I've ever played WoW for this long without taking breaks in between.
Kind of same.
Most of my history with World of Warcraft.
I think since streaming, same. I kind of played like WoW for like 7-8 years straight, pretty much. It's pretty nuts.
Since around 2010, was to just come back for the beginning or the end of new expansions,
True.
play for around 6 months or so, and then take a break and go play other games.
If even
this
that.
went on for quite a long time, since in Modern WoW we're currently on our 10th expansion, The War Within. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that usually that initial hype lasts anywhere from 2 to 6 months for most players. And this is for many.
If even that, though, 6 months is a long time to stay hyped for something. Especially nowadays.
Many reasons, but there's one that stands out to me the most. And it's one that I didn't expect.
What's this?
Alright, so Gribble's gonna be getting X out?
You can just switch over sides over here if you want, Gribble.
Freaking molten core, man.
Yeah, that might be better.
You're over here.
Yeah, let's just do that.
We all know that feeling. The feeling of a fresh WoW launch. Or a new
Corey, I'm not
classic
sure.
expansion. Where you decide this time, I'm going to take my time and enjoy the game.
It's the best way to do it.
I'm not going to rush to endgame and speed through all the content as fast as possible. I'm going to take my time leveling up and exploring this beautiful world. But sadly for most players, this doesn't end up happening.
Yeah.
You and a group of friends start playing on day one, maybe you join a guild, and then all of a sudden you find yourself competing with everyone else leveling alongside you.
Dude, for some reason, watching this is actually kind of making me a little bit sad. I don't know why. I'm getting like kind of like damn.
Fear FOMO sets in, and you don't want to be left in the dust.
Yeah.
So you start what I like to call the rush. You rush as fast as you can to endgame. You rush as fast as you can to farm your pre-raid bisc gear. You rush until there's nothing left to do but log out until next raid night.
Yeah. That's why hardcore was special,
for everyone,
I think.
And I know there's tons of players out there that don't play like this. But sadly, for a lot of the player base, this is how it plays out. Now, after a few weeks in, or maybe a month or so, you've done all the available content, and you find yourself raid logging until the next week. But honestly, as most of you already know, WoW was not designed to be played this way.
Yeah.
It was designed with the idea of the world, Azeroth, being the main character, not you. You're supposed to...
But people just know too much these days. Like, it's not a magical world anymore to explore. It's like a game to be conquered, right? You didn't like back. I feel like at least for me back in the day when I got games, they weren't be like, okay, I'm gonna get to the end game as fast as possible. I need to beat this game. It was like, no, I need to explore this world, right? I think that's why RPGs can be very, very awesome to play, because they kind of still have that sense, and you're like kind of secluded from other players' influence in that regard, so you can kind of take your time with it. Like with Elden Ring, or maybe the Monkey game is the same way with this. You can kind of just take your time with it a little bit more. That's why I'm chasing to be a raider. I'm a high mythic plus pusher. I just do enough to get things that I care about, mounts and marks, but raid locking is not something I love to become for me. I think raid locking is very common.
Within hype, war within hype, war within hype, war within
Yo,
hype,
Bunkruk.
war within hype, war within hype, war within hype, war within hype, war within hype.
Bonkruk, thank you. War Within has been fun. I think some people do also enjoy that race though, which is fair, right?
Take your time exploring and questing, playing around with some of your wacky talents that make absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
And ultimately,
raid loading seems sad to me. It can be a little bit. I am raid locking a little bit now in Sword and currently in Cataclysm. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like. I think it's because there's not a lot of you can do really outside raid locking. Especially if I'm a content creator, it can be really hard to like force yourself to keep like, you know, delving into a game over and over and over again if you in a way beat it already, you know. I kind of like raid locking so I can play other games. That's a fair way of looking at it. That's also how I look at it a little bit. Like, I still get to do my raids on Sword and Cataclysm, but I get to do other things as well, right? Like, we're going to be playing Diablo this week again and such. What's up,
just
Headshot?
getting immersed in this massive world. It was designed to be played at a much slower pace so that you can explore the vast biomes scattered all around the world. It was designed to be played alongside other players or your friends.
Yeah, Diablo this Friday, guys.
And even traveling all around the world to obtain the quests for that specific dungeon. Now, don't get me wrong. We all love watching Noda speedrun the world first raid clears.
This was fun.
It's part of the classic culture at this point.
No, dude. What the fun part about these speedruns was, and listen, you can call me a hate watcher, okay? But it was watching them do this raid and then hoping that they wipe. Because you're gonna hear the comms go crazy. That shit was the fun part of that, man. Back when salad bakers like Laddie and a bunch of people did like speedruns, and you were just hoping for the wipe. You were just, oh my god, please wipe, man. It was either that or they get the world record, right? Like either of the two, because just watching a normal run that's not that fast, it's not, you know, the most exciting. But if they wipe, dude, that shit is insane. I remember there was a run, I think it was Progress, and this was back before Chrono Boons, right? They had all like gathered the buffs. They've been summoned all over the place, up on the AQ40 portal, jumped into the raid. Everybody had all their world buffs, everything, and then one guy fucked up on the first trash pack and they all died on the first pull of AQ40 and they all lost their world buffs. And this is like a week full of like scouting for the correct ID with the proper like mobs the trash before Uro, and hours about, oh god, and they just lost it all. Oh, it was so funny. Sorry.
But
I'm so sorry.
Some of the most fun I've ever had in WoW were when I was much, much younger. And I didn't really fully understand how to play the game fast. Some of those experiences and memories that I made back then still stand out to me today.
True.
I didn't use crazy add-ons or set myself insanely aggressive goals. I just played the game at its natural pace and enjoyed it every step of the way.
Doesn't happen nowadays,
I'm not here to say that there's a right or wrong way to play the game. Everyone can play the game however they want. I'm just saying that if you truly want to play the game and have the hype last a little bit longer than just a few months, or even a few weeks in some situations, just challenge yourself to not play like a world-first speedrunner. Because the reality of it is, for most people, it's just less fun to play like that.
But this is really hard because you always play with other people in MMOs and you feel drawn to do what other people are doing. And for the most part, whenever something is new and fresh, everybody is so hyped and everybody plays like 10 hours per day, so you feel like you almost can't not play that way. That's why hardcore was very special, because it kind of nullified that for a big, in a big degree, right? Because there was no reason to rush, because all the people rushing are gonna die anyway, right? So just take your time with it. I'm gonna miss the Diablo 2 stream on Friday. What the heck, man?
I'm guilty of it as well.
Hardcore was fun in that way.
FOMO hits me super hard, and I end up blasting all the content as fast as I can.
Yeah, FOMO.
But the thing is, people who play this way most of the time are doing it because it's their job. So unless you're a classic WoW YouTuber or a streamer, why rush?
Kinda true.
Let the creators rush to complete everything and get their content out while you sit back and just enjoy the ride.
As a streamer, you're very, very much affected by this as well, because in a way, you're like, if you take your time with something and you chill and you whatever the heck, you know, it's worse because people would rather see the end game content as soon as possible. But I also think, to a certain degree, even as a streamer, if you take your time with it and enjoy yourself, it's also more enjoyable to watch in a way, right?
Look, we all know the
no
reason
plans at the
that
moment,
slightly older folks like myself go back and play classic WoW. It's to re-experience that feeling of getting home from school,
depends on the audience
job
too,
at the grocery store, and hopping on WoW with your friends. For me, this was back in 2005, and it went on for years. I would constantly create new characters on both sides, Horde and Alliance, get them to around level 20-ish, and then just make a new one.
Yep.
I didn't even think I hit level cap for the first time until right before Burning Crusade dropped.
True.
But it didn't matter. I was having the most fun that I think I've ever had in WoW, and I know that I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, very true. It depends, since you actually have a personality, you can do it like this. Dude, what the fuck? Most streamers have to know live to get viewers. Again, it depends on what kind of a streamer you are. Are you a streamer that, like, you know, talks to the community a lot? You like do a little memes and you walk around, you RP, you do like random stuff. It depends on how you are, right? I think a lot of people that stream also are just like sweaty, right? They just want to grind. Right, so that's really the thing. I've kind of made it up for myself with just wanting to enjoy the games a little bit more. Obviously, I still enjoy being sweaty. I still want to try to push like certain things and do stuff, but I'm just trying to have fun as well, man. You know, that's the main thing.
So many people experienced WoW in a similar way back then.
Yeah.
So having established this, let's think about it. I played back in 2005, and I'm 32 now. And I would say that on average, for classic WoW players, you're most likely between the ages of 25 and 45. Okay. Most of us have so many more responsibilities than we had back then in those younger days when we initially started playing, and most of our old squads that we played with are either broken up or not gaming as much anymore. And that's just due to life progressing.
True.
But for a brief moment, a few weeks or even months, we get to relive that magic. We get to jump in and try and recreate that feeling that we had when we were younger. And for a lot of us, it works. The only issue is that it doesn't last forever. And once reality sets in that you need to put in some serious time to get to that endgame goal, a lot of people tend to burn out or just log off until the next round of hype comes along.
Yeah.
And this really is okay in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a lot of us like myself who end up playing the whole way through, but I would argue that at least half the player base that starts on day 1 of a fresh hype no longer are playing by month 2. Maybe even...
I think even more than that, dude. Like, a lot. For sure, a lot more than that.
Earlier. This is just the cycle of how Fresh WoW Classic works.
I also think it's just how WoW is now, because we have so many versions, so people jump to the hype stuff, right? People jump to what's new and what's fresh. It's, in a way, I kind of hate it, because back in the day, you would just play one version and that's it. Everybody, that's the version. You have your guild, you have your people there, and that's what you play with. Now it's like, okay, we have a sword guild, there's a kata guild, there's a hardcore guild, there's a retail guild. It's almost too much, man. It's crazy, right? It's quite nuts, honestly.
And I honestly think it will continue to work like this indefinitely.
Yeah, true.
Almost every WoW player gets the itch to play WoW again once they've stepped away for a break. And things like Fresh or Classic Plus will be perfect to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
We're experiencing it right now if you think about it. We're about 10 months deep into Season of Discovery currently. It's still going pretty strong, but the hype is nowhere near as high as it was for the first 4 months.
True.
People have decided to take breaks, go back to hardcore, check out the new retail expansion.
Dude, I will say, man, that is, oh my god, that point there. Was that Nomer? Damn, it's hard to get a variety in. Do you feel that? Other games cause WoW releases. I mean, I don't know. It depends on if you really grind WoW. The way you play WoW, for sure, it's hard, Grayson, because you play like 15 different characters and you want to keep up on all of them. I try to play like kind of 1 max 2, right? And then I keep it as that. But yeah, Guzu doesn't play a variety though. I do variety quite. Listen, compared to WoW streamers and WoW Andes, I actually do quite a lot more than the average. Alright? I'm still very much a WoW streamer for the most part. So, you know, I don't do it every day, but yeah, I do more. I do more than most. But it can be hard, because you got sword stuff, you got kata stuff, you got retail stuff, so it can be difficult, Grayson, I do agree.
Maybe even quit entirely for the time being. And currently, since I was able to get that soft confirmation for a Classic Plus coming in the future from the devs, there has been non-stop talk about it. And this is how the cycle continues.
It will never end, I think. Classic Plus and Fresh Hype explained. It's just kind of how it goes, I think. This is kind of how it goes. I think there will always be another cycle of Fresh. Will Blizzard ever do it? I don't really know. But there will always be players wanting to do it, I think. This video was really good. I feel like, if anything, this was just really nostalgic. And it kind of made me a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie, like watching this video. But yeah, good video. It just makes me realize how much WoW really has been a part of my life. It's crazy when you think about it like that.